Hello YouTube. Sorry I've been away a bit, but I've been very busy. One of the things I have managed to do, however, is write a new play. You'll be quite impressed. Here it is. It's called Romeo and Juliet, and as you can see my name is at the bottom and at the top. You might have thought that this was already written by Shakespeare, but if you'd followed the papers you'd know that you were wrong. And I've created a brand new play here. Or so you'd think, by the way the newspapers have been acting. Recently in the paper I read something which said that apparently scientists had created new life in a laboratory. And this new life, it turns out, was actually not so new after all. What happened was the scientists allowed a cell, a bacterium in fact, to grow fully and to develop, and the DNA it's been given. Then what they did was take that DNA out, make it themselves. Admittedly, they did make it themselves using a computer, just like I used a computer to write my play. And they put little bits in just to show it was the DNA that they'd written, and then they put it back into a working cell, and the cell carried on acting normally. Now apparently this is what passes for creating new life in a lab these days, which is kind of surprising because what that sounds like is just what I've done with Shakespeare's play. I've printed it off from a computer, but it's exactly the same, and I've just added bits in at the top and bottom, which is essentially what they've done. Now at this point I'm not actually having to go at the scientists involved, because the scientists involved know exactly what they're doing, but the media unfortunately needs to get headlines, and to do this, rather than actually writing what has actually happened, which is something reasonably impressive, they go with the headline, scientists create life in lab, which is a load of rubbish. So I'm not having to go with the scientists here, I'm having to go with the media, and also the people who then read that headline and then think scientists all know the answer. It's a really poor state to be in. Newspapers have to sell papers, they have to get headlines which look good, even though they're technically rubbish, and so I kind of understand that. But then when people actually take that, you know, atheists or whatever, and try and say, look, we've created life, well, that's kind of dodgy in my opinion. And I find this kind of transfers into many things. If I read textbooks which are very high level, they have a lot of uncertainty in them, genuine uncertainty, and they'll make note of this, and they'll say, we think this is this, what we have at the moment suggests this might be that, and it goes on and encouches things in very uncertain terms. But the lower the reading goes, the further away from the high level stuff you go to, the stuff which is written from the layman, if I can use such a condescending term, the stuff which is written for the layman, you find has all the uncertainty taken out. This is this, and we definitely know this, and this happened, rather than we think maybe this happened. And so I want to advise everyone who's reading different textbooks or reading things in the newspapers, in the media, and I really want to just highlight things that you should be very careful about what you read, and unless you know all the details, you probably shouldn't take it, or you should take things with a pinch of salt, as the saying goes. Otherwise you'll end up believing that I've written a brand new Shakespearean play called Romeo and Juliet. Thanks for listening.